Good morning and welcome. Today I'm going to be playing a Total War Warhammer 3 Immortal Empires Dwarves campaign. We are going to be playing as the High King, Thorgrim Grudgebearer, on very hard difficulties. Let's get to it. Now, the goal of this video is to teach new players how to play as the dwarves. The dwarves have a lot of strengths and a couple of weaknesses that every player should know so they can get the most value out of these little guys. These strong but mighty dwarves start in Krasakrazak, which is the Dwarven, basically capital of the world.
March on!
Krasakrazak is a wonderful starting position. We start with access to diamonds, which is going to help us on for the rest of the campaign. We get reduced upkeep, win at higher levels, a great income bonus, and a tradable resource that will make us loads of money. On top of this, Krasakrazak has two special landmarks. One increases the movement range of our armies, along with buffing a couple of our flying units called gyrocopters. The second is the Throne Hall of the High King. This increases control faction-wide, Lord Recruit rank, and some income from buildings with a couple of other minor buffs. Overall, this is a wonderful settlement, and we are going to try to conquer the lands around us, starting from here. There are a couple things you need to know about dwarves to start. Number one, diplomacy and trade is a big deal in their economy. Up here, if we look at our economy, we can see that we have building income pretty good, but we also start with trade. Trade is boosted by getting resources and then selling those resources to allies like these dwarves over here that we start with a trade agreement with. So, the first building that I recommend you build is always going to be these diamonds. Whenever there is a tradable resource, it's never a bad thing for dwarves. Dwarves want many allies who they can trade with so that their economy is boosted. The second thing that we're going to look at is our technology tree. Technology is very important in Total War Warhammer 3. It gives you many boosts to either your economy or your units on the battlefield. In a recent rework, Total War Warhammer 3 gave the dwarves it very separated and organized, rather than one tree that kind of branched out and you had to work more to focus on whether your economy was going to do good or your units on battle were going to do good. I generally spend my first two technologies getting the Way of the Guilds for a little bit more relationships, which will give us more trade agreements, and then heavy Quern stones. This gives us growth. Growth is extremely important. It lets your buildings upgrade to the next level, which will give you more building slots, and will let you purchase either higher level units, which will help you in the combat, unique heroes, which will also help you on both the combat and in the campaign, and more unique buildings. Now, like every other faction, we start at war with another guy, and we're supposed to go beat this little orc up. And that is exactly what we're going to do. We have a master engineer, this guy's name is Tom Phillipson, and we are going to embed him in Thorgrim's army. This will increase our movement range of Thorgrim's army at the start of the next turn, along with providing a wonderful support unit into our army. Now, we are going to go fight this guy named Grajnak, because that is what one of our quests do. when we defeat this army, we will gain a treasury of 500 gold, which will help us build up Krezak, give us a couple more units so we can keep on rolling through and hopefully taking this first province in a couple of turns. This battle can be auto-resolved very simply, and you could probably go on to easily win the next fight. However, I would like to show you how dwarves play so that you get a good idea of what their strengths and weaknesses are in the battlefield. So I'm going to fight this battle manually. Now, dwarves are generally a slower faction and much more defensive, which means we're going to let the enemy come to us most of the time. Sometimes we will have to go out and attack them, but playing as a defensive army means that we get a little bit more time to fight these guys and shoot them while they come up to us. Dwarves rely on a solid front line, generally consisting of units with high armor and high shields. This armor and shields makes them very resilient to attacks from basic units like orc boys and goblins. They do not have goblins in this army, but that is okay. They also have a mixture of damage-dealing units. Their best is hammerers. Hammers do a significant amount of armor-piercing damage, which completely ignores the amount of damage that armor reduces, meaning they will tear through these heavily armored bigots. On top of this, the dwarves have a lot of missile units. Quite a bit of these missile units have a good range. As you can see, we do have a bigger range than these goblin archers, which means we will get probably one volley off before they get to start shooting us, which is very nice. On top of this, this is most of where our damage will be coming from. Dwarves fight in a very holding while shooting style. Your dwarf warriors in the front are going to hold the enemy back, making sure they don't disrupt and get to your quarrelers or other missile units, which will be doing most of the damage. You do have units like hammerers, which will do a lot of damage in melee, and of course great weapon units will also do lots of damage in melee. However, most of the damage that you see will be coming from quarrelers or just other special units. One of the special units that Thorgrim starts with is gyro bombers. Gyro bombers are basically helicopters with bombs. They also have a machine gun mounted on the front of them that has a suppression effect when we shoot people. This suppression effect makes their units slower, which will give us more time before the enemy gets to us. We can also slow down faster units to make sure they don't get to where they need to be. Now, for this, I generally don't take the starting army setup. This is because there are generally flaws in how they are set up. For example, this miners unit is completely undefended. We don't like it when there aren't people to our left and right. So, this is how I'm going to set up my battle. There's a couple of reasons why. Number one, dwarf warriors don't do a lot of armor-piercing damage, which means that these biggins over here are going to be a problem. They're not going to win that matchup. Winning matchups and choosing which matchups you want to be is the key to winning battles in Warhammer. I see that these biggins are on the right side of me, and therefore I put both of my armor-piercing units on my right-hand side. They will deal with these biggins like it's nobody's business, whereas you can see they are a very high threat to my dwarf warriors. This guy's name is Tom Phillipson. He is our support character in this army right now, and his job is to buff how much damage my quarrelers do and make sure they never run out of ammunition. He also has a gun. which means I'm going to put him right here so that he can shoot a couple of times before the enemy gets to me. He is good at hitting single entities and doing quite a bit of armor-piercing damage. This is Thorgrim Grudgebearer. He is our legendary lord for this campaign, and therefore our most important lord, and most definitely our strongest. He has a special ability called the Oath of Vengeance, which means we're going to want him to be fighting this guy. The Oath of Vengeance crushes the melee defense of targets. And seeing as this guy has a lot of melee defense, we're going to want to target him. Also, lords fighting lords is generally what you want to happen. Units don't really do well against fighting other lords. I'm going to start this battle because I've been talking for a while, and we are going to see that the orcs are attacking us. There are several reasons why. Number one is we have a ranged advantage. This means that we have more range than they do. Generally, the AI will attack you if you outrange them, and if they don't, you can always just run a unit up and shoot them a couple of times, and then they'll realize, oh yeah, you have a ranged advantage. Gyrocopters are extremely fast. Speed in this game is a huge deal. It can be used as our mobile unit to get around to the flanks, shoot people from the back, and of course drop these massive bombs. As you can see, I'm doing a little bit of damage to these orc boys, which is going to be very great. I'm going to pause this battle. We see that these orc biggins have a lot of armor. These guys do not. However, they do have shields. Shields block 35% of small arms missile fire when they are bronze, 55% when they are gold, and I believe it is about 75% when they are, sorry, I got that backwards. 55% when they are silvered, and 75% when they are gold. This means that these Quarlers are not going to be doing much damage against orc boys because of their shields. The 35% damage is just completely negated. So, when these orcs and goblin archers get in our range, we are going to be targeting them with our archers. As you can see, I've started to attack. We can see that these biggins decided not to take our matchup against the Longbeards and Hammerers. That means I'm going to have to make them do it for me. I'm going to issue a couple of commands so that my units decide to go into melee. Also, why not just let them come to me? Well, there's a ability called a charge bonus. A charge bonus adds to both the melee attack, melee defense, and weapon strength of a unit when charging. This means when I charge into battle, I will be getting a 12 bonus to my melee attack, melee defense, and weapon strength when fighting these orc boys and biggins. I decided to leave this unit here because I'm afraid that these orc boys will come around and deal some damage. I'm also going to start to bring my gyro bombers over to hit these guys with his many bombs. These hammerers have been getting shot for a while, which I don't appreciate, which means I'm going to try to do a flanking maneuver since I outnumber their infantry. Generally, you can use a 2-to-1 matchup pretty well, a 1-to-1 matchup pretty well, but if you have an extra unit, you can always just flank around. Now we can see that Krashnak, their enemy lord, has decided to go fight these hammers. He is a low threat, so I will take up that matchup. Also, he does have a lot of armor, which is what these guys specialize at fighting against. Thorgrim will, of course, come over, hurt his melee defense, and then engage in the battle himself. These gyro bombers have now reached where I want them to be. I'm going to line them up so that they can bomb these units. I will drop the bombs now that they are in position, dealing significant damage to all the units under them. I'm now going to come over here to the orc boys and try to shoot them. The enemy's banners just went green. Weird little thing about the orcs is when they kill enough of my people, they will get something called a wah. A wah is a temporary boost that lasts about 30 seconds and will increase the melee damage and melee attack of their units, making them much more deadly for a short period of time. This lord routed. That means I can focus on killing something else. The lord is also dead now. Killing enemy lords is a big deal because it will tank the enemy leadership. These two banners over here are wavering now. It's indicated by them blinking white. This means that they are on the verge of giving up. When a unit is on the verge of giving up, generally it's a good idea to focus fire on them, like I'm going to do with my Quarlers, to make sure they rout off the battlefield. Every unit has a leadership, and almost every unit can be routed. When they are routed, a white flag will be placed above their head, and they will run away, no longer attacking us. As you can see, both these goblin archers and these biggins started to rout, and they will flee for the combat for now. Generally, it's a good idea to shoot those units in the back, but there are still units that I need to deal with, and they are kind of out of range. Victory was given to me, even though I didn't kill all of these orcs. Why? There is something called army loss penalties inside of Total War Warhammer 3. Basically, even though these guys' leadership is crazy good right now, they just routed off the battlefield. They become shattered as their army believes that there is no way for them to win the fight, and they will all retreat. Shattered units are different than just routing units. They will never come back to the battle, and you can just let them run off. Whereas routing units will slowly regain their leadership and then come back and fight you again. Now, you can run these units down instead of ending the battle, but there is no need to. Therefore, I'm just going to end it. I got the decisive victory that they thought I would, and now we are going to end the battle and move into the next phase. Our army lost about 93, while they lost 176, along with their lord, meaning they took significantly more damage than me. Now, we get a couple of options. Our first option is to drink to victory, which will give my army the following effects: plus 50 unit experience, plus 10% income from all buildings in the local province, and plus 5 control in the local province. I can also replenish my units, or get a little bit of money. I'm going to choose the money for now, because money is always something that you can have. Now, I completed that mission and immediately got a second one. I need to capture and occupy this settlement. It will give me a little bit of treasury and a little magical item. Before I go on to take this settlement, I have a good amount of gold gained this turn, so I'm going to look back at Krazak. Oh, this little building here has a hammer next to it. That means it can be upgraded to its next tier. This is not always smart because it takes a lot of treasury to use, but right now I don't have much else to use my gold on. So, I'm going to upgrade it. This again will give me more income, better walls when defending, some more growth, and of course, construction slots. Also, before taking the Pillars of Grunji, I will open the Diplomacy map. The Diplomacy map is where you talk to your friends and foes and figure out what is going on in the world. These guys right here are my friends. I have a trade agreement with them, which is giving both of us a good income boost, a non-aggression pact, which is basically saying I won't attack them as long as they don't attack me, and military access, which allows you to walk upon their lands without trespassing. There are 3 more treaties that dwarves can hold, and a couple more unique ones that other factions and races can hold. One of these is a defensive alliance. A defensive alliance basically is saying if somebody else declares war on you, I will fight with you and declare war back on them. This makes declaring war on certain factions a deterrent. Military alliance is saying when you declare war on somebody, I will also join that war, and does the same things as the defensive alliance. Finally, a confederation means that we are so much stronger than you, and both economically and militaristically, that you should just join my faction, and then these factions would be completely under my control. There's a couple of dwarves to your north. These guys are called Zulfbar. These are going to be strong allies in the future. Now you can see that there are a couple of numbers by every single thing that I can offer them. As these numbers go closer to 0 and then closer to higher positive numbers, they will be more and more likely to accept. For example, right now they will not accept this trade agreement. They think it's just not a good time, and there's a little bit of distance between us. You can always buff how likely a other faction is to make an agreement with you by increasing their relationship. Increasing their relationship can be either giving them gold as gifts, settlements, maybe some battle support, fighting their enemies, and just being pretty nice to them, or having treaties with them. With that all explained, I am now going to take the Pillars of Grunji. Again, this is a decisive victory. I can also encircle it, which means that I will wait for the enemy to either come out or attack me, or they will start to take attrition. I am going to auto-resolve this battle because I think that I showed you pretty well how dwarves work. You basically hold their front line with your front line while your missiles shoot them. Now, we have a lot of options. We can either occupy this settlement, which will kind of hurt our control, but that's okay. Then we will gain complete control over the settlement. We can also loot and occupy it, which it does the same thing except a stronger control penalty and will give us a little bit of gold. We can sack it, which leaves the settlement under their control but just steals all their money, or we can raise it, which burns all the settlement to the ground. It becomes a ruin, and then people will have to pay money to claim it. Also, it gives us a little bit of plunder. We're going to occupy it. Now, as you can see, we have this settlement, this minor settlement. It's important to get all the settlements in a region, which you can see this region is called the Silver Road. And there are 1, 2, 3 settlements. One is still controlled by the Bloody Spears. Well, inside of a settlement or a friendly province, your units will start to heal gradually. As you can see, I took a little bit of casualties from the last 2 battles I fought, but I will be getting quite a few units back. My hero and lord also leveled up, which means if we click right here, we're given their skill tree. Skills are very important in this game. Legendary lords get a special skill tree, along with occasionally a couple other special perks that they can do. Every other lord will have a blue, red, and yellow line. The blue line helps them in the campaign. Every perk that you put into a skill will do a certain different thing. Generally, I always start off with Root Marcher, which gives my armies a little bit of extra movement, meaning they can attack or run away or defend more easily. The red line helps your current army. For example, if we look back at Thorgrim's army, we have a couple of dwarf warriors. If I put a point into this skill right here, Axe Lord, miners, dwarf warriors, and longbeards will gain melee defense, which means they will be better at holding. At higher levels, this will also give them a little bit of melee attack, which is very nice. These buffs are very important as it can significantly increase your stats. Also, further down the line, you have a couple that are just obscene bonuses to armor, melee defense. Sometimes it's like missile strength and ammunition for rank 7 and above units. What's a rank? Well, I guess we should first explain what's the yellow line. The yellow line is personal statistic upgrades. Sometimes it will also give you abilities that you can use in the battlefield to help. Over here is a unit card. A unit card has a couple of different things on it, and this tells you what the strengths and weaknesses of a unit should be. For example, Thorgrim has a high armor. Anything over 50 is pretty good. He has 125, which is an insane amount. He also has a lot of leadership, but he's pretty slow. He's got a good melee attack and does magical attacks, which negate physical resistance. He's got a very good melee defense and a good weapon strength. This means that he is probably a holding infantry, or holding melee lord. Our next guy is Tom Phillipson. Heroes will have a couple of buffs. Generally, they have a yellow line, just like lords will, and then they have a couple of campaign stuff. Increased mobility is what I'm going to do. Basically, the lord's army gets an additional 5% movement range. Now, before I end my turn, I can recruit a couple of units. I'm going to do this because I can see that there are 2 armies over here, and every settlement has a garrison that you have to beat to take control of it. This guy has 6 units plus 8, which means that he'll have 14 units that I'll have to fight. I only have 10. This means that I am most likely at a slight disadvantage in terms of how many people that are on the battlefield, even though I should have more quality units. However, either way, I'm going to recruit a couple of units. It's good to figure out what units can do before you can recruit them. This takes time either playing the game and then learning what each strength and weaknesses of a unit is, or just watch more of my videos. I'll tell you. Dwarf Warriors, again, are a great frontline holding unit. Miners, with blasting charges, are basically like this unit, which is kind of our worst unit in the game, or in the Dwarf roster, but they have explosives, which makes them kind of valuable. And then of course you have Dwarf Warriors with great weapons, which are similar to our Dwarf Warriors, but instead of having a high melee defense, keeping them in combat for a long time, they do a lot of armor piercing damage, which means they are good at taking out things like those biggins. I'm going to get one unit of Dwarf Warriors and one unit of Miners. Well, why not the Dwarf Warriors with great weapons? I already have two really good units that have a lot of armor piercing damage, so I feel like these grenades are going to be more helpful in the fight. I'm then going to end my turn. As soon as you end your turn, the AI does the turns for all 290 starting factions. 289, sorry. They will attack each other and you, try to sign agreements with each other, and of course recruit more units. Now, you can see a couple of things that happened over the end of your turn over here in the events and messages. You can see what units were recruited and by who, and then a couple of world events. The first thing that happened was I finally researched this technology called the Way of the Guilds, which means dwarves will like me a lot more. I'm going to immediately start with my heavy quarry stones, which will give me the growth so that my empire can build more rapidly. Rapid expansion is not always a great thing, especially in higher difficulties, but it's always nice to have your buildings upgrade faster and faster. Also, over the end turn, Thorgrim gained a rank. Thorgrim is not the greatest melee man, and generally, I don't concern myself initially with how good he is in melee combat. I like him as a buff lord. We are going to start his red line progression with getting Inspiring Presence. Almost every lord has this, and they will give unit experience gain for the lord's army every turn, and give a good bonus to their leadership effect. Well, what's experience? Experience is gained in combat by either killing units or fighting big scary things and doing damage to them. These hammers got one rank up. It will be marked by this little arrow sort of looking thing on their unit card, and will give them a nice little buff. For example, getting rank 1 will give them +1 leadership, +1 melee attack, and +1 melee defense. Other units, like these gyro bombers over here, don't really need that. Therefore, they will get accuracy and reload skill, which will help them more with their shooting capabilities. Now, we can see that this place was taken from the Bloody Spears by this guy named Skarsnik. He will be a big problem in our campaign initially. Either way, we need to take Mount Squighorn to get this province. Again, it is a decisive victory. Don't always go to the auto-resolve. As you can see, one of my units is glowing red. This is my miners unit. I don't really care about my miners units, and I would much rather replace them with Dwarf Warriors, which is why I will take this auto-resolve, but generally when one of those units are blinking red, you should fight the battle. When it is blinking red, it means that it will die if you auto-resolve, and when a unit dies, it becomes completely erased, having 0 models left, and will be taken out of your army. Again, I'm just going to occupy the settlement. I'm going to check through all these and see that I've been doing quite a couple of good things. My next mission is to issue a commandment. Once you own a province, you can issue commandments, which is going to be down here. Commandments are strong bonuses that you get for owning an entire province. One of these, for the doors, reduces the recruitment costs and lets you recruit more units every turn. Another one, which I'm going to do, is called Empower the Guilds. This is what I recommend you hold on to for a long time in the campaign. It gives you more tradable resources, which means trade is going to be good, gives you negative construction cost, and a lot of growth. Again, growth is very important, especially in the early parts of the campaign. Two of the other ones help with control and corruption, and income from buildings. Income from buildings is very good, and control can be very important, especially if you take places that are not very habitable. Now, great! Thorgrim got another level. You need to think about where these levels go, because there aren't an infinite number of levels. Every lord and hero can get 50 levels, which means that they will get 49 skill points. 50 skill points. You need to see where you want these, because, of course, you can't fill in every single skill. Now, in the short term, it would be very nice for me to get Axe Lord, which would help with my current army. However, Thorgrim is very good with hammers, which means I'm going to instead take this Thunderer skill, which will help my Quarlers and ranged units throughout the entire campaign. Later on, I will get Grimnir's Heirs, which will buff my hammers, which is what I'm eventually going to have most of his army consist of. Tom also got a level up. Now you can see, if I click on this skill, that there's a couple of chains that are put around the skill underneath it, Grudgebearer. This means that if I purchase this skill, it will lock purchasing this skill, generally vice versa. I'm going to instead get Break Open the Casks because it gives me more restock, which means I will get a lot more ammunition. Also, I will eventually get Triangulation, Requisition, and Sapper, which helps the stats of my missile units significantly. If you ever don't like which skill you just purchased, before you click out, you can always just undo your assigned skill points, and then choose a different one. On top of this, you can reset all your skill points, but this will wound your character for 3 turns. I'm going to recruit a couple more units again. This time, I will recruit those Dwarf Warriors with great weapons on top of my Dwarf Warriors. Now, why not just always recruit? Sometimes it's not a good idea to recruit. Recruiting takes gold and will increase upkeep of your armies. Every army has an upkeep, which means it will take a certain amount of gold out of your income so that you can support the army. Give them food, give them ammunition, give them all the things that they need. You can see in your treasury that most of your expenditure will be army upkeep. There are a couple of other things that can hurt your economy, but for the most part, these army upkeeps is what you're dealing with. Now, I just captured this settlement, so let's look at what it has. It's got a sparring chamber. Hey, wait, I already have that. Okay, that's cool. Most people will ignore that. Never ignore that. When you have 2 of the same buildings, generally it won't do much if it is a military building. It's always good to have 2 of the same infrastructure buildings, generally, because it will give you income. However, when it comes to military buildings, it doesn't really need to be a thing. It's good to check what tiers your settlements are going to be able to go to. Mount Squighorn can go to tier 3. Krezak can go to tier 5, which means I will demolish the building here because I can use 2 extra building slots somewhere else, whereas this one maxes out at 3 as well. Demolishing buildings will give you a slight amount of resources. Generally, it will be gold, but occasionally it can be other things like oath gold, which is another currency that the dwarves use. This will also free up a building slot that I will use somewhere else. I'm now going to jump back into diplomacy, because I just researched a technology that makes dwarves like me more. So we're going to see if Zufbar wants that trade agreement yet. It doesn't seem like he does. That's okay. You can always hop into quick deal too. This will show you that the deal chance of every faction. And most likely, well, oh, I don't know what I did there. Interesting. It will give you the deal chance of every single faction. So if we bump over here, oh, these guys are still at -1, these guys are at -5, etc. And you can go down and see, oh, these guys might be my potential allies later because they're friendly to me, but they're not going to take it right now. Also, peace is a thing. I'm at war with the Bloody Spears right now, which is why I'm attacking them. They don't want peace. So, that's okay, because we're not really going to give it to them, and if you played this campaign before, you will know that Skarsnik is also at war with them, and he will wipe them out shortly. We are again going to end our turn, wait for the AI to do all of their stuff before we progress. Yay. My quest has been completed now that I issued a commandment, and I get a couple of interesting notifications that I'll talk to you about later. Now we get a new quest, capture 2 provinces. We have a couple of options. The easiest option is to take the Forest of Gloom, seeing as that's only 1 settlement, right? Technically yes. However, 2 factions are about to declare war on me. Skarsnik and Gorbaz, or Gorod, Rotfang, part of the Ironclaw Orcs, and the Crooked Moon. Now, there's a couple of options of what I could do this turn. Number 1, I can reach the high place this turn and just attack Skarsnik before he attacks me. Also, he should be slightly weak from taking the World's Edge Archway. We can see that this faction that I was at war with is destroyed, meaning they have no more settlements and no more armies. Also, the Ironclaw Orcs just confederated the Scabbii, which means that they took all of their settlements with them. As you can see, they are expanding very rapidly. Now, in most campaigns, it would be generally alright for you to just go attack the high place. Skarsnik will come back and attack you, but generally you can fend him off in a manually resolved battle. However, this is on very hard difficulty. Expanding too rapidly will lead to destruction. You will take a whole bunch of land, but then you won't have the armies to defend against their stronger armies that have been building up, and then you'll just get torn apart. Krezak got a new building slot, but I'm going to wait 1 more turn for this to get upgraded so that I can use it on tier 2 building slots, which will give me special units and maybe some defense. Instead of Thorgrim attacking, I'm just going to continue to recruit some units. I'm going to check my diplomacy again to see if Zufbar wants to do it yet. They're getting pretty close, but not quite. And now I'm going to end my turn. I'm going to play out the first 10 turns for you to show you kind of like what this game is going to look like and how to function as dwarves. I'll do a second video to show you the next 10 turns and basically show you, okay, what happens after you've taken the first settlement and started to engage the next enemy. Tom Phillipson got another level, which is great. Oh, that's a lot of options. What should I choose from? It's important to read every single option that you have and options in front of it. For example, Deadeye looks great, plus 15% range. And this one, oh, dang, it crushes my range. So I should obviously do Deadeye, right? Not exactly. Sometimes there are very good skills further on in comparison to these ones. As you can see, this one tanks your armor, but gives you a decent amount of speed. And this one gives you an ability to shoot a couple of basically armor-piercing tank rounds. But it's important to make sure that your army is good. I always go with triangulation and requisition first. This means that my army will have more ammunition to shoot more enemies and will do more damage for every shot. Now, Thorgrim has a very sizable army here, and it is basically completely replenished. As you can see, I'm just missing one Longbeard. So, I'm going to start my war with the Crooked Moon. In diplomacy, you can always just declare war on them. But sometimes you can get money for joining war against them. For example, if I offer to join war, they'll be like, yeah, I'll do that. Then you can balance the offer and they'll give me a bunch of money, which is very good. However, I don't know who they're at war with, so I'm gonna have to do it manually. You can declare war also by just attacking a settlement. You'll have to say this is an act of war and declare the war. No allies will join this battle because neither of us have military or defensive allies. War has been declared, and we are going to attack the high place. Now, before I just auto-resolve this fight, it's important to note, oh my goodness, Skarsnik is right there, and he can reach me. Skarsnik is going to have a very scary army, and it might be difficult for me to fight. So, maybe it'd be better to manually fight this so that I minimize my casualties. It's also important to look up here. I got a banner. This banner can be assigned to any unit and will do a couple of effects. This banner is not going to be of any use in this battle because it causes a -8 leadership penalty to flying units. They don't have any flying units, so I'm not going to care about that. You can always scout the terrain to see, okay, this is where I'm starting, it's green, this is where they're starting, it's red, there's a couple of trees, a couple of rock formations. Let's jump in and see what we can do. I outnumber orcs. That's crazy. Orcs are generally strength in numbers faction and not a ton of really powerful individual infantry units. They do have a very amazing roster though, with a lot of scary things like trolls and big spiders. Speaking of big spiders, this unit is a whole bunch of spiders. Arachnophobia warning. These things are a cavalry because they are extremely fast and have generally a stronger charge bonus than most infantry. Cavalry will always try to flank your army, getting around and getting to your missile units or attacking you from the back where you are weaker. It's important to make sure you're dealing with cavalry effectively, with fighting them with units that have a charge defense or expert charge defense. This will take care of their charge bonus and also reduce how much impact damage they have. Now, again, this setup is really weird. It's basically letting these forest goblins get around. I don't want that. So I'm going to make advantage of this choke point right here and set up my dwarf warriors to fill that gap. Then of course I have my quarrelers are going to be over here, and Tom Phillipson, standing right next to them so that he can buff them with entrenchment and restock. Thorgrim is going to be in the front line because he is one tough monkey. Then I have blasting charges. Blasting charges, again, have those grenades, which means I should probably put them where they can launch them. I'm going to put them over here. It's important not to hit your own units with these blasting charges because friendly fire exists. I'm going to put these hammers over here and these longbeards with great weapons over here. Hopefully my idea is one side can kind of open up and then these guys can file through. Then of course I have these dwarf warriors. I'm going to make sure that nothing gets around, gets to my bag, and messes up with them. His entire purpose is going to be protecting these quarrelers. Then I have my gyro bombers. I'm going to use these as a disruption unit and kind of wear out my enemy before they get to me. Of course they are in orcly fashion attacking me. Yippee! I'm going to try to see if my gyro bombers can slow down and hurt both the forest goblin spider riders and these goblin archers. Oh, a hidden unit. Some units have the ability to hide and walk while hiding. This is called stalk. When units like infantry are in trees, they will be hidden and you won't be able to see them. Eventually though, if you get close enough, poof, they'll come out of it nowhere and you'll be able to see them. Over here I can see that my missiles have started to fire. Again, I can look at my enemy units to see, oh, they don't have a lot of armor, but they do have shields, which means I should probably not shoot these guys, and rather, oh, I guess all of their units have, shields. I am though going to halt my units. Halting units will stop what they're doing, take away fire at will, which is always toggled, meaning they'll shoot anything within range. And why? Well, there's a reload time, meaning that they have to pull their crossbows back to shoot something else. And I want their reload to be done by the time these forest spider riders are in range. I'm also going to target those with my hero. Now I can make that attack command, and we can see all these guys charging in. They are trying to shoot me, but that's not much of a problem. It's important not to get distracted by the main battle and leave these units over here. I gave them a move command, they moved, and now they're just sitting here getting shot. I'm going to retreat them because I think that I've done a good amount of damage and I don't want to get absolutely wrecked. I'm trying to do a slight flanking maneuver here. As you can see, I got my grenades off and wrecked these night goblins. These longbeards and miners with blasting charges are now going to circle around the foe and kind of deal with them. I also believe that these forest spider riders are kinda screwed, so I'm going to get these dwarf warriors to join them. My hammers are going to push through and try to do some other special stuff. As you can see, this unit of night goblins retreated. I can also restock these blasting charges so that they have more. They will charge into melee as soon as they run out. As we can see, these goblin archers haven't done anything this entire combat because I was able to distract them. I'm now going to focus on enveloping my foe. And, of course, targeting their lord. Killing that lord is going to be very important. This unit over here decided to come back and fight again, which means we're going to want to shoot it. As you can see, it's got enough leadership, it's no longer wavering or broken. Also, these forest spider riders are going to come back, which means I'm not going to charge all of my guys up there. Where's my blasting charges? They got their wall again. That's okay.
Take them down! There is no greater authority! Scoff! Understood, Lord! Aye, as ye command! For the High King!
All these units over here have broken, and I've now won this melee. It looks like army losses are not far off, as you can see a balance of powers up here, and we are absolutely destroying these units now.
It is a reckoning! Ready to strike! Missiles ready! Range fire! Range fast!
Here comes the army loss penalty, and I have victory. It's not always smart to end your battles right away if it is a land battle, because sometimes if you don't kill everyone, they'll just keep those units and attack you again next turn, even though you have victory. However, since it's inside of a garrison, when you win the battle, all their units will be destroyed. That was a very, very big win for us. We only lost 34 guys, which means we didn't take the tons and tons of penalty that auto-resolve will give us. Generally, you can fight a battle better than auto-resolve will give it to you, if you're playing at your right difficulty level. Now, we are ready for Skarsnik to come in and try to fight us. We will also replenish this turn and try to recruit a couple more units. I am going to recruit miners, even though I said that they suck. They do, but it's always good to have units that can tie up their units.
It is time!
We're again going to buff our quarrelers because I don't really care for my dwarf warriors, because in the long term, I'm just going to get this one. Now, there are these little arrows. To move past these arrows and get your next ability, you have to spend a certain number of skill points in the previous group. This right here is a group. It's circled by this very vague box. Maybe it looks better. Yeah, it looks a little bit better. When you have a point to put in, you put the point in, And as you can see, I need to spend 6 points in this group to get Rally. Rally is going to be ability that means that all my friends in 35 meters will get plus 16 leadership for 14 seconds. That's very nice, and then I can move on to giving them even better buffs. Now, Krazrazak got its building upgrade to tier 2. Yippee! That means that I can upgrade my buildings further. I am going to choose this building over here, which will give me access to Thunderers, which are basically guys with rifles, and also Iron Drakes, which are guys with flamethrowers. Again, it's important to note your treasury. It's not always a good idea to just go in and build every single unit, or every single building, because then you'll be broke for the next couple of turns. Also, I want to upgrade Mount Squighorn this turn so that I can start recruiting Quarrelers and maybe get a Thane, which is a powerful melee hero, into my army. I still have buildings that I can build in the economy, and of course I can build that building, but I'm not going to this turn.
To war!
I'm going to check my diplomacy, see if Zufbar wants that trade agreement, and oh my god, they do. You can always balance offers, which will give you some money on top of your agreement, but I don't generally do that unless it's a massive want that they have, because when you don't ask for all the money, they like you even more. I'm going to go back, end my turn, look over what Skarsnik's gonna do. They decided to attack. It says that I will lose this, and I might. They brought a second army that I did not know about, with a couple of very good units, such as a Squighorn, Nasty Skulkers, and Night Goblin Archers. On top of that, they have a lot of chariot units, which will disrupt my infantry and be a pain for the entire fight. I do have this small garrison. I'm going to give it to the AI to control because I don't care about those units. And honestly, I don't think that they're very good to manage because they only have 10 per unit. This also has Skarsnik, which is a very powerful legendary lord and is good at fighting large units. He has a couple of magical items already, and he will do very sneaky damage. This army is going to be difficult to fight because they have a couple of very scary units. One of these is an Atronach Spider. Atronach Spiders are massive spiders that will tear through your infantry line while shooting you with arrows, causing poison, which will reduce your combat effectiveness, and man do they do a lot of armor piercing damage. If I can eliminate this unit, however, I might be able to have a chance. We're going to quick save this fight because I don't know if I will win this, and launch into the battle. Good news, they don't have a wizard. But other than that, things do not look good for us. They have really good units, their reinforcements come in where they want them, and yeah, they have a lot of chariots. I think though that we might be able to pull this off. Sometimes close victories or close defeats can turn into victories. There's a hill over here. We're going to capitalize on it. Hills are very important in this game, and terrain, matter of fact, is very important. Oh, where can I set up my units? Right here. Further back? Okay. So, terrain is very important. While fighting uphill, units get a negative to all of their stats. While fighting downhill, we're going to get a bonus to all of our stats. Also, this means that they can't really flank us a ton. They can, but it's just going to be harder. As you can see, I can't set up a unit back here, which means they can't really come through this side.
It is a reckoning!
So, we're almost done with our setup. We're gonna take our hammers, put them over here, and our long beards with great weapons, and put them over here. Basically, the idea is, once these dwarf warriors take a little bit of a hitting, I'll have some more people to hit them back with. I'm gonna put this guy on top of this hill so that he can shoot over my units. This is another great thing about fighting on top of hills. You'll get more range out of your arrows. Thorgrim, I don't exactly want in the front this time, because if Thorgrim dies, my entire army's leadership is going to be absolutely destroyed. I'm again going to send my gyrocopters up a little to try to hurt that Atronach spider. Apparently they're over there. I can see the Atronach spider in the distance. That's our target. Also, if I can hurt their archers, that'd be great. I do have 60 minutes, and if that time runs out, I win. The reinforcements come in about 1 minute, which is good for me. Gives me a little bit of time. Squig herd over here. Night goblins with squig hoppers, which is a pretty good cavalry. It's going to be another one of their scary units. See if we can hit this Atronach spider a couple of times. Boom, boom, boom. Not a ton damage, but it's going to have to do for a second. We're going to see if we can drop a couple of bombs over here. Ooh, that should be a good bomb. We've done a good amount of damage. We'll keep shooting that Atronach spider, and we'll come down here. Drop another bomb. Boom. Very good. We'll keep hitting this Atronach spider, causing as much chaos as we can, disrupting their goblins by flying over them and dropping bombs. Oh, great place. If I can minimize how much damage I take by just keeping flying over them and dropping those bombs, they'll also try to run away. Oh no, the reinforcements showed up. That's not good. That means they're probably gonna charge me. But I still have a little bit of time before they do that. Sometimes difficult to drop bombs. A couple of units are going to be coming down and funneled into this channel, which means I'm going to try to get a couple more bombs off where they're all crowded together. That wasn't great. Nope, I don't want to fire, I want to move. And pretty much we are going to keep on dropping these bombs as their units come in. Sadly, I'm almost out. Right there's good. And we are going to wreck their infantry. As you can see, I've already killed 150 goblins, hurt this Atronach spider quite a bit, and I still haven't lost a single gyrocopter. Pushing ahead with elite units, doing a lot of chaos disruption damage is very, very good. Let's keep on hitting that Atronach, because it is by far the thing I'm scared about. I no longer have bombs to shoot these goblin archers, but I do have ammunition. Looks like they put something over there in those trees, which I'm going to have to be aware of. Also, this makes sure that their army is focused on this unit over here, that I can kind of stall for time. Of course, 1 hour battle is quite a bit, so I'm going to speed this up. We're doing very good against this Atronach, doing lots and lots of damage. We are armor piercing. We're kind of meant to take out Atronach spiders. Suppression is always good, making sure that it can't run away from me. Kind of just keep it in range is the main idea, and every couple of seconds shoot it. And I think it should go down in maybe 1 or 2 more volleys. Yep, 2 more volleys probably. One, it's routed. Kill it, yay! Okay, so, good news. We have successfully killed off that unit. What's the second most powerful thing? Their lord. Killing their lord is extremely important, especially since it's Skarsnik. Skarsnik is very scary to fight. I don't want to deal with him. I'm not sure what these guys are doing over here. They are hidden, which is a problem. Oh no! Alright, there's Skarsnik over here.
Nothing can stop us.
We're in the trees, so we're not gonna start shooting yet, because not very ammo efficient.
Range fire, range fast.
But if we could do some damage to him,
Fire, reload fire.
that'd be great. As you can see, we're not gonna do a ton. He's got a solid missile resistance. Okay, we are getting absolutely shot over here, so maybe let's not do that. And let's focus on something else, like their Snotling pump wagons, which are going to be a big problem in this fight. They also don't have much missile units over here yet, which is very good. Alright, my units have started to fire, which means I should probably tell them who to shoot. The Snotling pump wagons are my main concern, but also those are going to be a problem. Alright, let's give them that. Let's see if we could take out that one actually.
Targets well.
Cause, yeah, focus fire. Zoom, zoom, zoom. We're doing really good damage against the Squig Herd, and hopefully we can also do good damage against these Snotling pump wagons. They are going to get to us eventually, which means we should focus on something else. Probably their archers. Archers are always something that's important to shoot at. This Squig is down. We're gonna go get this Slime Missa. Now, there's a reason why I didn't charge these units. These units have a bigger mass than me. You can check the mass by hovering over this little character thing. Units with bigger mass will toss the other guys around. And generally, it's a good idea to not use your charge bonus and instead use a charge defense versus large, which all these dwarf warriors will have. We're gonna see if we can shoot this Slime Missa. These Snotling pump wagons broke, so it's time to fire on these next ones.
Fire, reload fire. Charge. Miners.
We're gonna try to get these miners around
Now.
and restock the ammo on these guys.
Kill them all. As you command.
Looks like I got those archers to run away. So I should focus on these nasty skulkers, which will do a lot of damage into melee. And yeah, not gonna be fun to fight. Looks like this Slime Missa is getting absolutely wrecked in melee. That's very good. We always want that to happen. We're gonna target this Squig Herd now, and these Snotling pump wagons.
Shoot.
We absolutely wrecked those night goblins by throwing grenades into them. Looks like this guy is about to go down. Probably about time to start targeting their melee infantry that's about to come up here. And yeah, we could also fire at that.
It is a reckoning! Anu! For the ancestor gods! Kill them! Ja! Kill Urks! By King Thorgrim Grudgebearer! That'll do!
They've started to shoot back at my gyro bombers. Not very good. So we're going to shoot them right back. It looks like our front line is holding pretty well. We have taken quite a bit of damage from the charges from the Snotling pump wagons. But other than that, we're doing pretty good this fight. We do need to make sure that Thorgrim doesn't get away too far, because Skarshnik is still around somewhere. And he is a sneaky guy that will hurt us a lot.
Miners! It is a reckoning! Strike out! Barrel bomber! Take aim! Kazoo!
Gonna hit those goblins again,
Axes out, lads!
and then charge the Snotling pump wagons,
Range far! Range fast!
which hopefully we can tie down.
Fight! Barrel bomber! Warriors!
I got those
Shoot the wyverns!
archers over there,
Attack the Urks!
and now we're going to focus
Vengeance!
on these units.
Moving out!
Over here there's been a couple of problems
Warriors!
with what's going on with the fighting,
Barrel bomber!
but we're just gonna have to deal with it. This was going to be a hard fight anyway.
Vengeance!
Don't know who to give that to. We're gonna give that to your quarrelers.
Move to attack! Bring them! Miners!
Gonna pull these miners back and send in these guys instead. That hero came back, and there's Skarshnik. We're gonna use these gyro bombers to kind of get at him.
For the Karazanko! I'll do it!
Looks like they broke.
Is an order!
Lots of spinning looms over here.
They have wronged us!
Those archers broke, but they've got goblins coming back. Not good. Ouch. Let's get those Snotling pump wagons
They have wronged us! Kill
and
them!
reform a line.
All out! Holding ammunition! Plow through! Range fire, range fast! Ranged firepower ready! Take them down!
Apparently I didn't see where Skarshnik was well enough, which is completely fine.
Fight! Aye? Yes! Aye! No!
There he is. I see him again.
Let the vengeance
Now,
begin!
he is a high threat for Thorgrim, which means it's not a good idea to put him in a fight. Not a good matchup. We want to take good matchups. So we are going to send one of these units over here and one to support over here. My archers, for some reason, kind of got into melee. Also not good. So we're going to make sure that they don't do that. My gyrocopters ran out of ammunition as soon as I popped that ability. Also not very good. But I think we're about to win this fight, which is very good. Looks like my allies came in just in the right time. Let's get that. Get Get those guys, get those nasty skulkers. This is definitely going to be a high casualty battle though.
Thorgrim Grudgebearer.
As soon as I get
I'll get my tools. Aye. Down. Fire on the foe. Dwarf warriors. Nothing could stop
ran out ammunition with these guys, so we're gonna go try and attack their archers. And there we go, we have army losses.
For the ancestors.
Come on, let's go restock.
Oh baby. The clans unite. We are relentless. From those dwarfen legs.
Now we are going to try to do a little bit of damage to Skarsnik and wreck this lord over here. These guys have done enough. Oh, we're still getting shot, apparently. His second army hasn't gotten the army losses. Now they have. Let's get this guy to run forward. Come on, let's take out Skarsnik. That'd be really good. Skarsnik is now dead. That's huge. Let's restock this gyro bomber. Now they did attack me, which means I'm going to want to run down their units. Sadly, I'm playing as dwarves, which means I'm pretty slow. But if we could hit these like Night Goblin archers that are still got good amount of people, that'd be good. We are going to let this unit run off the battlefield, which a lot of people would wonder why. Well, he's got basically no health left, which means that he will be there the next fight, but he'll be really easy to fight. We're gonna end this battle. Pyrrhic victory. Understandable. That was a really hard fight. We lost a lot of dwarves in that one, but we also killed a lot of goblins. They took a lot of damage. I got their lord, I got their hero, their other lord is basically destroyed. I got their big Atronach spider. We managed to deal with it. Why? Terrain was a big part. They had to walk all the way to us, which meant that they were exhausted and just fought a lot worse. I can replenish, which might be a good idea, or I could take their money. I'm going to take their money because that is a big amount. Looks like they do have 2 armies left, and we're going to probably run them down this turn.
A quest has been issued, mighty lord. A great adventure beckons. Be wary, though, for while the potential rewards are great, so too are the perils.
So, every legendary lord gets a couple of very special items. One of these is the Axe of Grimnir for Thorgrim Grudgebearer, which has a couple of campaign effects and then makes him a stronger person in general. We got a legendary defeat trait. When you defeat another legendary lord, you get a trait that helps you out. Now, it's time for our counterattack. Both these armies are pretty beaten up, and we should be able to take them out pretty good. I now have 2 more units of miners that are completely healed. I kept my hammerers in reserve, so they're completely healed. And my guys aren't that much beat up. I'm going to start to put my ability points into Grimnir's heirs, even though I only have 1 unit.
Good. Grimnir's axe thirsts.
We're going to go in
We mark
and attack
another
these guys. Decisive victory, we'll take it. We'll take the gold again. Now I have 2 options. Number 1, I could attack the World's Edge Archway, take a place, but this army is right here, and I don't trust my garrison to survive that. So we're gonna go get these guys first, take them out, take their money, and then retreat to my province. Ooh, I got a Master Rune of Spite from that? Dang on. That's a really powerful item, by the way. Then I can recruit some more miners before I go attack them and take their capital. Basically, this war is won. We'll be doing pretty good. Now we need to worry about these guys down here in the south. Krezak, doing pretty good. We've got enough money, so we'll do 2 more buildings, and we'll recruit another lord. Recruiting a lord is sometimes a little bit tricky. I never recruit rune lords. I don't really like how rune magic is done. So generally, I will recruit either a demon slayer or a lord. This time I'm going to recruit this lord. Lords are very nice, and they have the ability to give you a couple bit more casualty replenishment rate, recruit people for lots more melee strength for dwarf and infantry, and give a little bit of physical resistance. We're going to recruit some dwarf warriors into this army, and then do my upgrades. I'm going to continue doing Grimnir's Heirs because I want Rally, and then I'm going to give this guy a Flash Bomb, which is an ability that will debuff the enemy. I also have another technology that I can do. I could keep going into the guild's technology, getting oath gold, construction costs, reductions, and then getting more income, but I am going to move to the clans because it gives me a recruitment cost negative and eventually some really good buffs. That's turn 5. Marching songs is now done, and I can go to gather the throngs. This fight is going to be pretty simple, taking the World Edge Archway, probably going to auto it.
I smell orcs and traitors. Ready my axe.
Decisive victory on an auto resolve. We'll take it because we'll just replenish those units. Occupy.
Good.
And we can build something.
Grenier's axe
We did get a
first.
trinket maker, which gives us construction cost negative and income. That's always good. However, I'm going to start building a trading depot. This is a pretty good thing. Kinda does the same thing as a trinket market, although it doesn't generate as much gold, but it will generate me oath gold, which I want to build items and research technologies.
Let's march. The High King acts.
I'm gonna take Deadeye, because I do want ballistics calibration, which will make my ranged units better, and sharpshooter is always great. I don't need to recruit another unit of miners. I feel like I have enough confidence to take these guys out. We could go up, meet up with Ungram, who lives right here, and then we have a border secured. There's a couple of rats over here that we might fight, but we do need to deal with these guys in a second. Instead, I'm going to spend my money to recruit units over here. Perzagruni now has a population surplus and can be upgraded. I'll do that too. Now, one of the things that happened was I got an unusual location in the Pillars of Grunny. Weird. What's that? There's a faction of Zinj who will give me some interesting buildings occasionally. Basically, these are their settlements. And if you destroy them all, you will destroy their faction, but sometimes it's kind of hard to find them. I am going to destroy this one because it does give me some Slaanesh corruption, which I don't want. It costs 1,000 gold to destroy. And that is almost the end of turn 6. We'll go into diplomacy, see if anyone wants to be my friend. They don't really right now. That's okay. The red eyes were destroyed, which means that this guy, which is Thorgrim, is doing very well. Also, a Cathay caravan arrived, giving me a good money boost.
To war!
This unit, or this army over here, is gonna have to be destroyed before I move up to Grand Peaks, because if I leave it there,
Time!
he'll just deal with me.
Got Ben?
We're gonna stay on the edge of my border, get the recruitment, go into ambush just in case,
Send me to vengeance.
and I can finally get rally.
Ready.
I'm making 1,000 gold a turn, which is very good, and now I can buy Thunders and Iron Drakes. I'm going to purchase one of each of these because they have separate things that they can do inside of the battle that I'm going to want. These guys, who just delivered caravan to me, want a trade agreement.
We make our
I'll give it to them, because economy is always something that you want. So go back to my settlements, look over here. Everything is looking really good in this campaign. We've got a couple of trade agreements with Far, which is doing alright in this campaign. Thorgrim was doing great in this campaign. We're about to take out Skarsnik, which can be a big problem. And then we'll move down south. Or maybe deal with these Skaven over here. Got a second army. My economy is doing great. Hopefully, in 2 turns, we can attack Grand Peak and take it. Now, I got a special quest issued for Thorgrim Iron Fist. This is a legendary hero, and basically for the start of this, I need to recruit 8 units of Slayers. Then I get the Slayer's Axe, a little bit of Oath Gold, and a special hero. All of these are great.
Retake the realms.
Now, I can't exactly attack Mount Goonbad,
Aye.
so I'm going to go into Encampment Stance. Encampment Stance lets you replenish units even in foreign territory. It will slow you down significantly, but that's okay. We just need to get there.
Let us begin.
I also finished building my artillery buildings, which means I can recruit either bolt throwers or grudge throwers. Excuse me. Grudge throwers are a great catapult unit, and bolt throwers I haven't used a whole bunch, so we're going to try it out in this campaign. Mount Squeakhorn can also be upgraded now, which is going to give me Coilers and that thing that I was talking about. And as you can see, I'm out of money. I'm doing a lot of building, trying to expand a little bit too fast maybe. As soon as I take this place though, everything will be fine. So, what would the Grungi do? This is a world event that just will happen occasionally, and it will give you 2 to 4 options generally, sometimes a little bit more, and we have 2 options here. Number 1 is I get, for 3 turns, income from mines, gold mines, and stone quarries plus 10%. That's pretty good, but I don't own any of those. So we're going to go with the second option, which gives me more diplomatic relations with my friends. I got another mission, recruit 30 units. That'll happen over the course of this campaign. And now, it's time to siege Mount Goonbad. It says that I have Pyrrhic victory with a lot of casualties. Taking walled settlements is a slightly bit harder. They have walls that will attack you. There are capture points that you need to get. These guys will have a lot more leadership, which will be a problem with these trolls here. So we're going to just continue this siege after building some siege towers.
Drang! Wipe out the trespassers!
And basically, they will not be able to recruit. They'll take some attrition every turn. And if they attack us, they won't have their walls. This army is looking pretty good. We'll get we'll get one more dwarf warrior. And Vanguard proficiency. Check diplomacy, and that'll be another turn.
Gobblers angry!
Almost done. This is turn 9, so we'll show you turn 10, and then we'll be done for this video. Hopefully you'll go check out my next one, which of course will be turn 10 to 20, which is where a lot of really cool stuff happens. You'll get a lot more special things happening. I have a decisive victory. Casualties medium, but we're not going to lose any units. I don't really want to fight this. I'm going to point out though that it is a land battle, which means they don't have their walls, which is why it's a decisive victory now, even though they had Skarsnik in that army. We did great, didn't take that many casualties. We will now occupy Mount Gumbad and Bova. We are doing great in this campaign. We've taken that second province. We're bordered by allies. We're going to be coming down and probably fighting the Ironclaw orcs. And that should be faction destroyed the Crooked Moon. Right now we have 6 settlements by turn 10, which is pretty solid. Some factions are able to claim land a lot faster. As you can see, it took me 2 turns to grab Mount Gumbad instead of or 3 turns actually, instead of 1. So sometimes it just takes a little bit more time. We now have Krezak's province of the Silver Road, all at tier 2, which means we'll get more growth. We'll be able to upgrade this to tier 3 and get even more powerful units, get more diamonds, and we'll be doing great this campaign. Also, Thorgrim leveled up one more time. Right now, I don't have any tier 7 units, so I'm going to leave that alone for a second, and instead take this Aura of Endurance, which will buff my army even more.
Ready?
We'll get this ballistics calibration I've been talking about, and upgrade our mobility, because we're going to be walking home.
March!
I don't entirely want to recruit more or get more military recruitment buildings over here, so we'll just do a trinket maker. Or actually, we could get some dwarven beer to help with our control, because right now our control isn't great. Also, that is a tradable resource. It's always good to have beer. Kraden wants a trade agreement. They'll pay me 500 gold. Nah, it's good. There we go. 3 trade agreements, a couple of friends neighboring us, and we wiped out Skarsnik. Really great. Also Mount Gumbad, by the way, guys. Gold mine, really important settlement to capture. You'll also get a Brightstone mine, even more important than that gold mine. It's great. I would generally build a gate here if the bone rattlers were coming down, but it looks like we're doing pretty good. So maybe we'll just do some more beer. We'll issue a commandment, get that growth going, and that is turn 10. Thanks for watching, everybody, and I hope to see you guys later. Check out that next video, and I hope this helps you guys.